Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. As we heard last week, governors of Lahore, Aslam Khan and Zakharia Khan, both names are mentioned in our Ithihaas, could have been arrested for not sending tax to Delhi for 3 years. They kept all the money for themselves, and being politically wise, they explained to Delhi that these Punjab Singhs had looted everything from them so that they had nothing to give. Of course, we know that this was not true. This was all part of a cunning plan that allowed Zakharia Khan to keep the money in his Raj. You could say that they were experts in tax evasion. Zakharia Khan couldn't control the Singhs, who were now attacking the regime more and more through effective guerrilla warfare. Every day Zakharia Khan would hear about Singhs attacking his forces, including a total of 7 major attacks in which the Singhs would take the regime's money, horses and shastar, leaving the regime empty-handed. Sangaji, just something to note here, don't think that the Singhs would loot or attack for their own personal gain. In Ithihaas, it is written that these Singhs were so greeb that during their attacks, never mind wearing body armour, the Singhs had no clothes. Even in the harsh winter months, the Singhs would be seen attacking with just the dastar, the kashera and shastar, and still had so much power that they would successfully loot the enemy despite being heavily outnumbered. All the goods received during these attacks went back to the Khalsa Panth. Their Qurbani Sangatji back then is why we live comfortably today. It was due to their sacrifices that the Khalsa Nishan Sahib was seen flowing on top of the Lal Qila of Delhi many years later, and is now raised in every corner of the world. The Singhs had no personal gain. It was all for the Panth, for the movement. Zakharia Khan was slowly burning in hatred as he continued to hear about the daredevil Singhs. Eventually, he discussed this with the Mughal Emperor of Delhi, Muhammad Shah Rangila. He explained that he had tried every type of gruesome torture, but the Singhs would keep coming back. No matter what he tried to do, he could not defeat them with force. Therefore, he needed to change his tactics. If we can't defeat them with force, let's try arrange a samjauta or a peace treaty with them. We need to act fast, as no tax revenue is coming into Lahore because of these things, he explains to Muhammad Shah Rangila. This is when Sangaji in 1733, they decided to offer the Khalsa power. Basically, if you can't beat them, join them. This offer can be summarised into 3 main parts. Firstly, the price on the Singhs' heads would be lifted. All attacks on the Singhs and the genocide of the Khalsa Panth would be stopped. Number 2, the Singhs would be given a value of 100,000 jagir land revenue from a number of villages to survive on, removing the need for the Khalsa to attack the regime. And number 3, one Singh of the Khalsa will be given a Nawabi, a leadership. Bhai Subeg Singh Ji was sent to Amritsar Sahib to present this offer to the Khalsa. Bhai Subeg Singh Ji was a great shaheed that we will cover later in this series. At the time, however, he was a lawyer working for the regime. He was educated in many languages, including Farsi, Arabi, and his political knowledge was so respected that his voice was recognised in even the major courts of the Mughal regime. Not just that, he was a very wealthy businessman, as well as an Amritari Gursikh, but known to work with the regime. Zakharia Khan requested Subeg Singh to speak on his behalf. Tell the Singhs that we have no animosity or hatred for each other. In fact, we respect you. Let's focus on developing Punjab together, they say. Tell the Khalsa that we are brothers. Singhs and Mughals, you follow Guru Nanak Sahib Ji and we respect them as our peer. We are sons of the same father, Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. Look at how deceitful they are and how their tone has changed. If we look at the letters that the Mughal regime shared between themselves during this time, they used to refer to the Singhs as dogs. And now all of a sudden, we've become brothers. And Sangaji, when Bhai Subeg Singh Ji heard this, he knew that these were just words that meant nothing, and that it was being said just to control the Singhs attacking the regime. He replied saying, I can't go empty-handed, and Zakharia Khan explained that he wouldn't be going empty-handed, he'd be taking a Nawabi. Power, land and money would be presented to the Khalsa. Also, Zakharia Khan was smart. He knew that the Khalsa wouldn't accept the Nawabi and that they had no desire for any materialism. But one thing he did know was that the Khalsa had great prem, love for the Ithihaasic Gurudwaras. Up till now, he had placed a price on the head of every Sikh, resulting in many being shaheed, travelling and doing darshan of these Ithihaasic Gurudwara. Zakharia Khan said that the Khalsa will once again be able to freely visit their dharma asthans. He swears on the Quran that he wouldn't attack the Sangat. They can go freely to Nankana Sahib, Rodi Sahib, Khadur Sahib, etc. He told Subeg Singh to make sure to mention this. He also arranged the Nawabi, which consisted of 8 expensive items. Shal di pag, ek jadao kalgi, jiga, ek jodi sunehri kangana di, kantha, ek bahumule motiyan di mala, ek Nawab da jama, te ek jadao shamsheer. They sent a message stating that don't consider these just as ordinary clothes. This is a uniform of a Nawab, a leader, a Raja. Choose wisely. In Punjab, you will have as much power and respect as I have. Sawa lakh rupee you receive every single year. This Nawab would have honour and respect from all thrones. Even Delhi would seek your advice on important affairs. The Nawabi was carefully packaged, and eventually Bhai Subeg Singh ji approached Darbar Sahib Amritsar in the year 1733 during the times of Vaisakhi. And Sangji, what was the darshan, the blessed sight of Darbar Sahib like? Darshan of Sachkhand on earth that each Guru ka Sikh desires and remembers every day in Ardas. Sri Amritsar Sahib ji de darshan ishnan. Sangji, Kavi Ratan Singh ji Pangu beautifully describes this scene. He says that you could see the tents of the Sikh families from afar. The Nishan Sahib and Nagara was set up right in front of the Akal Bunga. Kirtan could be heard. Some Gursikhs are busy doing seva, some are busy in the langar. Others are busy practicing Shastra Vidya. They are shooting their arrows and spinning chakras on their fingers. Some are doing seva of looking after the horses. Some are sharpening their Shastra, and others are reciting Gurbani and teaching Santya. What a beautiful sight to see, Sangatji. Such a large panth all together, treating each other like Guru ka Roop. As soon as Bhai Subeg Singh ji seen the Nishan Sahib, he immediately got off his horse. He walked barefoot and matha teked and did pakarma around the Nishan Sahib out of respect before advancing towards the Darbar Sahib. A divan was happening at the time in which Guru Sahib was Prakash. The sounds of stringed instruments and the beat of the jodi could be heard. Jathedar Darbara Singh ji and other great Gursikhs were present in the Sangat. Also, Sangatji, you couldn't just walk into Darbar Sahib like we do these days. The maryada of the Khalsa then was that if you had been separated from the Panth for a certain amount of time, you would have to get Ardas done first. When you are in the Panth, you follow Gurmat Maryada, but who knows what Maryada you follow when away from Sangat. Mistakes can be made. Therefore, Bhai Subeg Singh ji, who knew this Maryada, went and stood at where the Sangat would leave their shoes. He waited until Panj Singh came and did Ardas for him. They knew he was a Tankaiya, the original term for taking a salary from the regime. But deep down his alliance lay with the Khalsa. Therefore, after the Ardas and humbly accepting his Tanakha, he was allowed to enter the Darbar Sahib. This is a future Shaheed we are talking about, and look how much respect he had for the Khalsa and Darbar Sahib etiquette. Upon reflection, Sangatji, compare this protocol to today's, and you'll see a huge difference. Today we have forgotten all the satkar to the point where we sit in chairs in Darbar Sahib, or enter Darbar Sahib with dirty clothes or socks on. If we just look to our history, we can learn a lot. We can learn exactly how important it was to uphold the valued etiquette of Darbar Sahib. Bhai Subeg Singh ji entered the Darbar Sahib and placed the Nawabi down in front of the Sangat, and explained the request and offering from the Mughal regime. Kei Singha ne kiha ki ek hi leke aa gaye, sanu nahi chahiਦਾ. Why should we take anything from the Mughal regime? Pant Turkan ko aisa mel, brood agan ko jaiso khel. That the relationship between the Mughals and the Singhs was as fragile and hazardous as the relationship between explosives and a spark of fire. You could hear the Sangat saying, we don't need this Nawabi. Others, more far-sighted, they would say, let's make the most of this opportunity. It's not like we've begged or asked for this Nawabi. They have come running to the Sharan of Guru Khalsa and are asking us to take it. They come in fear, and the Khalsa has daya as well. Let's use this power while we can. Let's use it to further spread Sikhi. Sangatji, the fact that if the Khalsa took this power, they would be able to travel freely and partake in the seva of Ithihaasic Gurudwaras. This was the biggest pull towards accepting this peace treaty. The seva of the asthans that had deteriorated over the years could now be done. Look at the respect our previous generations had for maintaining our history. Keeping this in mind, eventually the Guru Khalsa concluded the first part of the Sarbat Khalsa, decided to accept this peace treaty. The Mughal regime was now begging the Panth to take this Nawabi, and soon Raj would also be in the feet of the Guru Khalsa. The roaring sounds of Jakari could be heard from the Darbar Sahib. Now the question remained, who should be chosen to become the Nawab? Who is worthy of being our Jathedar? Sangat ji, the Ucha Sucha Jeevan of Bhai Kapoor Singh ji, and how they were chosen and named Nawab Kapoor Singh ji, we will cover in next week's episode. Please forgive me for my mistakes. Lekha Kathena Shutiya, Kinkin Woolen Har, Baksan Har, Baksalat, Nanak Par Utar, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.